This is not a drill. This is not a drill. This is a drill. This is not a drill. not a drill. This is a drill. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. This is a drill.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm Julian of Julian Gray Media. This is the October 2018 Patreon live stream. In this series of videos, you can go back and look at all the old ones on my channel, and I always catalog these. I do a special event for my patrons, and any patron $10 or above can submit a project file for the live streams, and then I work on the project file in Ableton, so I can give you guys really in-depth feedback as far as what I would do if I were working on the song. So we have a few projects today. We have about 5. I have one project that was an FL Studio user, I should say patron, and we're going to listen to his song on SoundCloud because he doesn't have the Ableton, if you will. So we're going to play that on SoundCloud. I think that's going to be the first one. And then we'll go ahead and start diving into all the project files. If you hear any noise in the background, it's because there's this obnoxious construction guy outside cutting down a palm tree, literally like 5 feet from my window, and it's really annoying. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll get this thing started. So cool. Ignore OBS being like Inception. This is our first one today. It's a guy named Andylicious. You may be familiar with him if you're in the Discord, and if you're not in the Discord, I encourage you to join it. It's free to join, and you don't even have to be a patron to be in there. So it's in the description of this video. So this is Andylicious. I Need Love. Let's give this a listen. Help if I turn the audio on. Like my invisible cup. The main one on this guy, I think, is sound selection and sound design. The writing is really nice. I think you need a little bit more in the lower mid octaves, like maybe C1 to C3. Not a lot of energy down there. You have a sub underneath, and you have a very energetic top end, but you don't have any mid, which is like really dragging the song down. The clap kind of sucks, I think. And the main sound could use some work, but the melodic writing is great, and the arrangement's good. So I think the main thing for you to practice is sound design, or if not sound design, layering your sounds in such a way with octaves in mind to kind of fill up the bottom end and give it some energy. Nice vocal, though. If I remember correctly, I think Andylicious does his own vocals, too, so that's cool. Feedback stream only for patrons. Yes, this stream is actually not a feedback stream. This is a fixture project stream. I do feedback streams open to the public every once in a while, but this is just for patrons that want to submit their Ableton projects. So that was Andylicious, I Need Love, or what have you. You just saw it. I'm going to go ahead and start opening these project files, and we're going to dive right into it as far as what I would change and what I think would make these better. So, oh God, why did it do that? Sort by name? Yeah, okay, cool. So, I have all of these guys, and we have 6 today. So we're going to go ahead and open these up. Let's start with Cosmic Curry. I'm not sure who these are, who submitted these projects. When they send me the projects, they send a download link, but often they forget to put their name in the title. I would appreciate it next time if you do, because I can't really give you credit unless I know the name. So this is Cosmic Curry, one of the patron submissions, and let's give this thing a listen and see what we can change and adjust. If the levels are off, let me know in this chat, and we'll get to it and fix it. Really cool melodies. I thought this was a Zen World stream. So really nice sound design here. Incredibly cool aesthetic. It's almost like harkens back to the 80s and that synth wave, retro wave vibe. New wave was what they called it back then in the 80s, but now it's retro wave because it's 20 years, 30 years later. I believe this is actually his name is Aperture, and instead of a T, he has a 7. That's his alias. I'm pretty sure that's who this is. So the big ones about this guy, you have really nice sound design. I love your arpeggio stuff. Let me see if I can find and isolate it. One thing is definitely start labeling stuff a little bit better. This is kind of a nonsensical way of organization. Oh, okay. This is Spectral Friends. Okay, sorry guys. Actually, it's Spectral Friends. You see, this is why next time, everyone who submits to the stream, please put your name in the project file, because when I download them, I just get a giant folder of projects, and I don't have the names for them. So if your project comes up, instead of me trying to guess, let us know in the chat. Okay, so I'm going to start labeling stuff. I think this is fine. I'm going to group these kicks together, though. The biggest things on this guy are mixing, I think. I don't want to take up too much time in the labeling. I just want to isolate some of the things I really like and isolate some of the things I don't like. This guy could probably use some more distortion. I'm going to call this bass pluck. It sounds good, but it's almost a little too clean. That's beautiful, but I would consider that more of an ARP than a pad. And let's see this guy. That's like an FX sweep. And yeah, if we have anyone in the chat that talks to all these people and listens to all their like unreleased demos, it would be very helpful, because then I'd know who's who. Okay, so this is effects as well. See, the thing is, I like to organize stuff. I think organization is a big part of workflow. I'm just going to call this effects. And it's easier to mix when you have things categorized by similar sounds. So let's give this a listen. It's like a bass too. Okay, I'm going to put this up top with the other bass. And we're going to group those together in a bit. Let's see what this is. Bass. And what I'm doing is I'm actually going to sum all of these basses together into one group and then probably sidechain, and not do it the way you're doing it, just to keep things under control. Okay. Here's another bass. It seems as though these basses are all during different times. This one comes in when this one goes out, etc. So it shouldn't be that big of an issue to balance this out, but I'm going to grab all of these guys. Sounding very cool, though. This is a solid tune. Needs a needs like a 80s vocal on it or something. Okay, so I'm going to group all these together with Command G, Command R to name, and we're going to call this bass group. And the reason we're doing this is so we can really monitor how the basses sound together and how this one transitions into this one. It's just good practice to have them all in one place as well. And I think the biggest issue with this mix actually is literally just levels. There's not a ton of problems as far as sound design goes. I think the sounds are really nice. It's just getting the right levels. Again, I apologize if you hear that outside. There's like a here, I can even show you probably. There's like a guy cutting the palm tree down next to my window, so it's very loud. Apologies about that. All right, so let's give this thing a play now that we've bust this together. And I'm going to see if I can grab the side chain on some of these and just toss it on the bus instead. So there's one there. I think there's one on all of these. They all look relatively similar. Maybe we can just work on the individual ones. So this, which is the one that opens? This one I feel has like top end. You get a lot of that resonance growl like in this like 1K region. I would dial that down. It's like ow. Okay, cool. Sounding better. Cool, let's give this thing a listen. The next thing we can tackle in this mix is the kick drum. I think there's not enough low end to it or something. It's just not really punching for me. Let's see what we got here. That one's cool. Let's turn it up a little bit. So we can get some more boom in it. Kick essentially just has too much top end for the amount of low end. So I'm going to toss on an EQ and maybe we'll dial some of the mids or upper mids out. A little bit too much of that click too. Let's see if we can find it. It's actually in the main kick. So I'm going to actually go ahead for this main Drezzo kick. I'm going to dial that click off the top. As you can hear it, you can kind of hear it here. Almost sounds like a tap of metal or something. It's very, very aggressive. So I'm going to dial that in and use this kick only for its sub capability. So maybe even a little bit more. Yeah. Let's see how this sounds now. Turn it up a little bit more. So obviously this is way loud, comparably now. I'm going to turn this just a little bit down so we aren't clipping in the chain. It's actually no difference at all in Ableton because it's a floating point DAW, but it's just a visual annoyance to me when I see clipping. So I'm going to go ahead and try to tune up some of these so that they're working a little bit better with this. Now we have a very solid bass end. Let's see if we can turn this guy up maybe a little bit. Like I said, this one, the biggest thing about this one is really the mix down and balancing the elements out, I think. Let me actually dial this kick in. I'm actually gonna roll off some of the bottom of this guy so we can save it for the other one. This is more mids. Maybe we'll give it a little bit of a bump in the mids. Yeah. And this is more of our top click. So let's go ahead and add in an EQ there. Turn this up. Maybe dial out some of the lows here. And see how this sounds together now. Okay, so we have immediately too much of that mid. And too much of the top. See, these kicks aren't the best source material to use. Unfortunately, we need like a heavier sub kick, I think, but he doesn't have one in here. This isn't bad. This is kind of incompatible kicks. Julian, can you please show me what you have into have by master, please? I can't understand what you're saying. Sorry. Do you mean like a mastering chain? You're just trying to promote your new song coming out. Be nice, kids. Acoustic kicks and electro, yeah. Yeah, this is a little bit too soft. It reminds me of like old school like Grandmaster Flash kicks. Maybe we can try to find a heavier one and replace it for him. But I think this is sounding better now, at least. Yeah, it's still not quite there. Let's see if we can find him a better kick. I'm gonna try to find the key of the song. Whatever that is. Let's see. E minor. Okay. E minor is our kick key, and I'm gonna see if I can find a kick in E minor. And if not E minor, then we'll go with the 1, 2, 3, 4, the G sharp, which is the next note of that triad. So let's go to the drum rack and see if we can find a kick in E sharp. Or, I'm sorry, E minor. And if we can't, then that's okay. We can make one work in another key. Start in E. I actually am not a big guy. I'm not a big kick layering guy. I'm more of a kick synthesis guy. But if he wants to do it this route, it's possible. I gotta find the right source material. Better. Yep. See if like a compressor on this or something. Almost sounds like he does, and it's like shortening up that kick or something. Ah, right. I have the EQ on that. Okay. Let me turn that up just a little bit. Okay, so now this is more of a mid-tone because we've added even more bass to this one. This guy can probably go. See if we can find a replacement for that, like a little top clicky kick. Okay, cool. That's better. And let's dial that in. Much better kick now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually toss in a drum bus, which is essentially a combination of different effects, but I like it for its transient shaping ability. I want to see if I can dial in the transient a little bit here. Use it just a little bit for some crunch. Trying to shorten the transient up so we have some bite, if you will. See if we can give it some boom. Don't want to take that too far. Very easy with transient shapers to go overboard. We're coming out pretty loud too. Okay, so for the sake of keeping this not clipping, I'm going to dial this in. Okay. Get some good settings here. See, the transient's what adjusts the length of the kick. Drum Bus like labels things in a very like consumer friendly way, but it's essentially a series of other effects tied together: distortion and saturation and compression and transient master or transient shaper. So that's kind of cool. Let's keep that in there, and we're going to turn this up. So I don't know if you have isotope, but I'm going to use an isotope maximizer because like ADM said, it's bothering me too that we're clipping. So I'm going to grab a isotope 8. Actually, I'll grab the 7. I'm assuming you have the 7. 8's a little bit more, a little bit less popular. So I'm going to use 8 or 7. So here we are. Still not quite right. Maybe yeah, I actually prefer it without it. Don't want to clip into the master though. So maybe, okay, let's turn everything down just a little bit. I think in general this song needs to be turned down quite a bit. It's a little bit too loud. I'm going to highlight everything and dial it back maybe like 4 decibels. It's a good place to start. You can bring that up in mastering, but you don't want to start that loud. Give you some more headroom for the other drums. Let me grab the kick and drag it out of the drum group. I want to process this differently from everything else. Just a different sound. Also, the snare here is just not good. I see you layering snares. I would actually just do like a single snare. Let's ditch this, and we can probably make this a little bit more interesting with a different sample. I'm going to drag in a different snare. Let's see if we can find one that I like more. And let's grab one in key too, so E. That one might work better. Cool. And of course, if you don't enjoy these revisions, you can always just save the rack from the previous version and dial it back. See if that one works. A little bit more bright. I almost feel as though this would work better with a clap. Let's see that. Let's test this theory. Maybe like a reverby clap. Almost like there's another layer under that or something. See if it works with that other snare. Maybe if we compress it with some reverb and go for that like gated effect, it'll sound better. Let's grab an EQ, give it some high-end boost, and then give it some low-end cut, like so. You don't need that in the snare, and maybe a little bit of mid boost. let's grab in a reverb. I like the Valhalla Room, which is my favorite reverb. Put it before the compressor so we can get that really crazy 80s sounding. And I want to give it some high end so we get the shimmer. Don't want it to be too long to where it leaks into the next transient. Dial the bottom end out a little bit more. That's sounding better. And let's turn up the snare now and rename it to clap. I think a clap works better in this scenario. Give it some more decay on that reverb. Yeah, it's much better. Like a really nice resonant here. Resonant frequency. And I'm trying to accent. I don't want to do that much, obviously, but yeah, very, very cool, like very cool synthwave vibe here. The last thing I'm going to adjust on this one before we move on is the bass sound. This could be spiced up just a little bit. I'm going to unfreeze this and maybe add something to this to make it a little bit more interesting. So first let's dial in what's happening here. I think this is a... spread this out just a little more. Don't want this to clip out of serum. I'm going to turn this up here instead. I think you have this going through a note envelope instead of an LFO for that rhythm. Yep. I don't want it to close all the way because then it just sounds like a very, very stuttery and short. I want it to be kind of stagnant. So let's leave that cutoff open just a little bit instead of going all the way down. And this is such a high bass that I think we could probably put a reverb on here and be safe. But first, let's put in an EQ. I just want to fill this up a little bit more. It's a little bit too static and dry. Let's try a little bit of reverb. This is more of a pluck than a bass sound, I think. And let's put the decay down. And let's put the high cut down. A little bit more. Just messing with the settings until we get something cool here. Okay, let's see how that sounds in the mix now. probably compress after to catch some of the reverb. I think the snare really did help in bringing this thing full circle. You have some hi-hats in here too. Let's listen to those. And I think you get a little bit more mileage out of a 16th note hi-hat like this than you will out of a 8th note hi-hat like so. You're going for that like industrial vibe. I'm also not sure why your phrasing isn't lining up to the grid, but you may want to get on top of that so that this always lands on, you know, the equivalent 16 bars. This is like a DJ's nightmare here, and I would adjust that in your song. Okay, so let's listen to the second drop. I'm gonna play through I guess this whole section here, and then we'll move on to the next one. Cool. Sidechain that hi-hat too. That is cool. All right, so that's what I'm gonna do on this guy. And that second drop, you can probably add like a little bit more low mid again to fill out where that growly sound isn't. But very, very good job on this. Sounds really awesome, and looking forward to hearing the final version. Okay, so next we have Formless. I'm not sure who this is either. Again, please put your names in the project files next time, so we know. Okay, I don't use Audio Unit, nor do I use Isotope 6. He used it seems to be that as a maximizer or a limiter. Maybe he's using it for its imaging capabilities too, but unfortunately I don't have it. So, and he has stems for this guy, so there's not much I can change to this one as much as the other ones, but we can also get a grasp as to what everything is going on with the stems. Let's give this a play. That's sick. I think this might be... I don't know, to be honest. Kick could come up. Yeah, that bothers me a lot. Actually, that's not the level aperture. That's actually the monitor level. This is beautifully written. Yeah, I'm gonna use a maximizer here. Maybe we'll adjust to Pro L. Okay, so this guy, you have a very, very cool pattern here. It reminds me of a lot of Eddie and Eddie's stuff. I'm not a big fan of the snare drum used. I can't change it because you have a drum bus. Snare seems almost like memey. Like it's very Eric Prydz-y, like a Prida-y, where I think you should go more industrial with this, with like maybe like a white noise, like a psst, psst, like a very, very short, or maybe even like a clap or something. This is a little bit too much of a snare, and I think it's really dragging the energy of the drop down. Because instead of like a psst, psst, it's going like and it's just really slowing the groove of the song down. I think it'd be banging if it wasn't that snare. Kick is really nice. As far as your bass goes, though, it's like I would maybe add a little bit more distortion or something. It sounds a little bit too much like a square wave. That might just be taste. I'm more of like a saw wave kind of warm analog guy. It sounds just a little bit too squarey to me. Almost gives me like BSOD vibes. So if that's what you're going for, it's very cool. The writing is cool, and the syncopation of the grooves are nice. But again, change out that snare, and then change out, maybe adjust that bass sound. Let's keep listening to this. I think the break is perfect. Perfect. And then the rest of it is very good as well. Just needs a little bit of tweaking. This guy could probably use a little bit of high passing too. Yeah, that snare's got to go. All right, not much I can do with this one because it is in stem format like this, but it's sounding cool, and keep working on it and send in the update maybe for next month. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. All I did is a little bit of mastering in Pro L, but sounding cool. Let's move on to the next one. Cool. So desktop. We go to patrons. Cosmic Curry, Formless. Okay, Landing is next by Tigris. Tigris is awesome, but his stuff always breaks my computer. So, because he's like the plug-in guy. Let's give this thing a listen and then give some feedback as to what I would adjust. While we're waiting for this to load, send me any questions you have on the chat, and I will answer them. Okay, Tigris. Please don't break my CPU. Okay, lots of plugins, but that should be fine. Here we go. Let's play it. It's really good. I'm always floored by Tigris's writing. This is incredibly good. It's very above and beyond Arjuna. Giant Okay, so like, the writing is flawless as always. Tigris is probably one of the, as far as like music theory goes, one of the best patrons and one of the best musicians in the group, in the Discord, or my students alone. Very, very cool writing here. I think the biggest thing is making a bigger difference between your drop and your build up. This doesn't feel like a drop to me, and you have it labeled as such. And if you're going for a drop, I think you've got to lose some energy here. That's where you're really gonna find more energy in the drop. It's easier to remove energy here than it is to add energy here. So let's give this a play, and maybe we can adjust some things to make it flow better. Also, this drop is like literally 8 bars long, and I think this should be probably double the length of what you have currently. It's very cool though. Very solid. If you're really going for like that Eddie vibe, like everybody's saying, maybe remove your clap and your hi-hat first, and just go straight for the just the kick. And make that kick kind of valuable. So remove it before everything else. Really, really nice percussion though. Mix is great. And I would actually just keep the kick straight for this part, and go for the syncopated kick when we bring everything in on the second 8 bars. Make this a different color so we can identify it. I like to have things different colors so that I can just pull them whenever I need to recall a section. So this is like a straight quarter note kick. Almost feels as though there's like a high pass on this or something. I think this is unnecessary. Maybe we need like a little bit more bite in the top for this kick. I think it's a little bit too subby. Do you have any like information in the top end? Try like adding a click in. We can go for like a click one. See if we can construct a little bit more information in the top end. If we can figure this out. Oh, right, we have an EQ on it. We obviously don't want like a super short one. Okay, then the filter comes on. Okay, I gotta find a place where there's nothing, no like effects, and I'm just gonna loop it. There we go. There we go. That's a little bit better. There we go. So it's a little bit of a click. It's not a major difference, but it's there. Okay. I'm just gonna ditch this EQ. We're gonna add in a stock EQ and then just do some work on this kick. So I'm gonna dial some of the mid out, give it some low end. Give it maybe a little bit of crunch on the top. So let's dial the gain down so we aren't clipping, and then we're going to turn it up here instead. Okay, cool. I don't know if that's the right click yet. See if we can add some like mids into this kick sine wave. Let's see if we can find the key of the song first, and then we can maybe work around that and find the notes that are relative to that key and write with them. So we are in D minor, as you can see. Is it labeled as D minor at least? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think that's D minor though, bud. Gotta find an effect I can play. I can solve the key by ear, I just need to hear it. Yeah, this is in G minor. So let's tune up this kick a little bit here. Let's drag this up to the G. Okay, G is a little bit too high. If we were to go to the next note, which is the 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, we can go to the B or we can go to the D. So let's try the D. Yeah, B's a little bit too low. I'm gonna go to D and maybe bring this out a little bit. And for this guy, let's bring this up to a G. Try the D. Just trying to make this kick a little bit more thuddy without ruining where it's sitting musically. Also, I don't know what the purpose of that is. I don't want to lose the bottom end of my kick, so. just not enough low end here, and I don't know why. That's really the issue here. Hold on. Let's get a G here. Maybe we can bring that out and keep this up to like a G here. Definitely need some tweaking here. Something up. Yeah, compressor is not the effect I'm going for. One of the biggest issues is everything's too loud. Again, so we don't have space to turn up the kick. I'm going to turn everything down maybe 4 decibels and then turn the kick up maybe 2. You need a stronger kick in this drop section. I don't know if kick 2 is really the solution for this. You can make it work, but I think you can probably find a sample that's just as easy. Yeah, because that's very soft. Let's see. Okay, if I was to actually duplicate this and try it with just a kick sample, I think we get a better result here. Kick 2 is good for some things. Let's see. Drum rack. And let's grab in the kick. This is in, I forget what key this was. I think it was G. Let's try a G. And if not the G, then maybe we'll try the D, because that's the 5th up from the G, and that can work better sometimes. See what note does that. Yep, there we go. And let's turn this up. Maybe the 2 of these together could work. You just need some bottom end to the kick, and I think that's one of the biggest issues of this song, because the actual song is fine. Maybe we'll add in an auto filter here, and we'll actually remove some of the low end and bring it in only for the drop, so we have a little bit more contrast between the drop and the build-up, or the bridge, or the verse, or whatever we want to call it. See, now this kind of feels more like a drop, or like a pre-drop kind of thing, and this could be your real drop. It's just that you need to make more contrast between this and this, so you have, you know, more energy and the arrangement feels better. Same for this guy, but the writing is great. All right, that's all the time I'm going to spend on this guy. Very good job, Tigris. I hope that helped. Most of that was spent trying to rework your kick. I think you'd probably just be better off with a sample kick here. I'm going to collect all and save, and then we'll move on to the next one. But very nice writing. Maybe during our session we can work on this guy. Okay, so next guy we have is Nemesis. Let's see, I think flattened is probably the correct one. I don't know who this is either. Unfortunately, I don't have the names. we're gonna try to get through these pretty quickly. I'm trying to wrap up by like 1:20, so it's 12:46 right now. All right, give this thing a listen and see what we can fix. Very quiet. What's this? Ozone 5. Wow. Okay. Let's grab the Ozone 8 maximizer instead, because I don't have 5. Okay, I immediately. Oh. What is that? Oh boy. Weird routing. Sorry for the. I got how to fix this easily. Goodbye. Okay. Now we're fixed. There we go. That was weird. Okay. He basically did a interesting routing where he had his mic, or the samples actually, or the channels actually being routed into one, and he had it routed as monitor in, so I was listening to my mic too. Weird. Okay, immediately we know what's wrong with this. It's the drums, so the rest of it sounds fantastic. Terrible kick, first of all, I think. The snare's not good either. And you have reverb on it too, which is not helping. Okay, let's see if we can. You don't want to swipe into every snare, I don't think. That's just going to cause weird issues. And it seems like your whole song's kind of like one bar off, so I'm going to do this. Added time signature change. Now we're all on the bars. Okay, so let's fix this snare first and foremost. This sliding snare thing is kind of too much, I think. Let's see if we can get a better snare here, and we can just cut it like that. See, this is more like a sliding snare to me. Maybe we can grab an actual snare from a different pack. Packs. Let's try. You know, it would have one. It would be Xylent. This is a good pack for this. I don't have his one shots. Never mind. And let's drag these over to where they belong. Kick's got to go too. That's not good at all. There's like really cool ideas to this. The drums are just tanking the song right now. Where are we? Let's find the key of this. I'm going to add in a MIDI channel, and I'm going to add in an instrument so that I can figure out the key. Do Serum for ease of use. Let's see. It's E minor. Okay, another song in E minor. Let's grab in an E minor kick drum and replace the one we have in there currently. Drum samples, Black Octopus, and we'll do kicks and grab E minor. And replace the future bass one. one's just not good. Okay, and then let's see what else he's got on here. I don't like this. Don't know why you need OTT on like drum. Neither for that either. Okay, and then I'm gonna separate this into separate racks so that we have a little bit more to work with here. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the kick drum, put it on its own rack. Call this kick. Oh man, he's doing it with chain selector. Okay. Yeah, its snare's gotta go. The biggest issue with this guy is the drum samples. They're just not good source samples, and it seems like you add a lot of effects to try to counteract that. The real solution is just to get better drums. See if that works. Not to mention that we're pretty much flatlining our master. Let's see if we can dial this in and turn everything down just a bit. Cool. Yeah, the mix on this guy I think will be resolved once we fix the drums. The drums just sound extremely quiet, and it's weighing everything else down. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn everything down maybe, and we'll work from there. So if something is too loud and you can't turn what it is you're trying to turn up, just turn everything else down, and it's the same effect. And I think a big part of it actually is also that there's no side chain, as far as I can tell. Ah, okay. It broke when I moved it from DRAC. And I don't like to use drum racks for this exact reason, because then it gets really convoluted when you have to dial in each individual section. Okay, cool. That's a better compressor, I think. Let's toss it on our chords group as well. Let's get rid of this. I don't need to sidechain to the whole group. It's kind of pointless to sidechain to the hi-hats or the snare. So delete that, and sidechain should be last. So cool. Let's see how this is. This didn't work for some reason. Kick E23. For some reason it copied it into sampler, so kick E23. And I also would advise to put the kick under the snare as well. It's like a sudden death technique if you're a fan of his. I think that works much better. Yeah. Coming out mad loud. I think that's OTT. Cool. And let's listen to this with everything. Now the kick's gonna be extremely loud. be able to use that. We just gotta make these work together better. But immediately when we fix the drums, it's gonna sound significantly better, as you can hear. Almost sounds like this one's hitting earlier. Yep. That's like, doesn't sound good at all. Okay, I'm gonna dial this over there, and now it should be fixed. And I'm just kind of guessing where these are going. I don't know if there's any adjusted snare rhythms. You can probably re-add those, but just for the sake of doing this quickly. Turn that up. For some reason, this isn't working either. Let's mute the other one. Only thing I want out of this chain really is the freaking maximizer. I don't think it needs anything else. And this is a very, like, unnecessarily surgical EQ. Hello, JRD Mao 5. Get some top end. Turn it up. And I think you'll find that with that, it's going to sound much better now with fixed drums. Also, there's like no bass to this entire song. I think if you were to just add in the freaking saw wave, with a maybe a mid-tone octave, you could easily fix this like so. That one. We're so loud into this master, it's nuts. So turn everything down again. Put a filter on this so we have maybe go down instead of up, we go down. There. And then you have like a better bass sound. Let me grab that sidechain one more time and place it there. So I think with these suggestions, you should be able to improve the song a lot. I think the drums really, really helped. Same issue with these basses. I think they're just, they got to be sidechained a little bit more. This is cool. It's very like Skrillexy. Let's give this guy a listen. Yeah. Okay. Whatever that lead is just really piercing. I think it needs to. This guy. Where is that, like, I don't know. He's not in the chat right now, but those are my suggestions for this guy. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Don't want to work on this for too long, but it's a cool idea, and I think you got to add some mid-lows, and you got to fix those drums. They're terrible. So go ahead and collect all and save. Okay. And we'll move on to the next one. I think we have one or two more left. Go ahead to patron projects, and we'll go to pre-sim 1 for Julio. Who's left in the chat, guys? Let me know. You got 30 viewers right now. Cool. I sent you an ice cube. I'm sorry. Okay, here's one. Not sure who this is either. I think the last one was Clyde something. Okay. Regardless, I'll try to put all of their names in the description of this video so you can check them out afterward. This one is Aperture. Nice ambience. It's like really sick ideas. I think your clap needs some work. And I think you need some low end or something right here to fill this void. Just as a proof of concept, I'm gonna throw in a serum really quick. You know, I love serum. I'm gonna do like a pad or something, like a droning pad, and use that as a base. So fill this up. That was the drop, if you will. Something like that. Kick could come up in volume too, but in order to do that we have to turn everything down, and we're gonna dive into that rabbit hole again. Clap could be adjusted. I'm gonna go ahead and high pass it. Go ahead and grab a reverb, and we're gonna use some of that on this, like so. Don't want to give away too much bass before that drop section, if you will, so I'm gonna go ahead and low pass it. Even go so far as to do one of these. Hold on, let me see if I can. Like a super resonant note to give the clap like a nice like Tommy effect. You can even do this actually. Copy the side chain over to the other one as well. Listening for the click of the kick so we don't get such a long form side chain. And then we're going to reduce the ratio and the attack time to 0 so it's immediate. This drone ambient sound is so cool. I'm going to turn it up just a few decibels. Thank you. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. I'll throw an auto pan on and we'll put the rate to very, very low. Very, very slow, I should say. and we'll make the amount relatively low too. So we get some. God, that freaking chainsaw guy outside, it's nuts. We get some nice stereo effect. Kick should come up, but I don't have any headroom to do so. That's so beautiful. Very cool. Okay, so I think this would actually be cooler if you droned the first note of this for the first 4 bars, like so. And then you continue it like this. So it gives it time to introduce. High pass it a little bit. Make it a little bit less plucky. So we have a centralized voice, and maybe we can put some reverb on it. I don't know if you have Valhalla, but you should get it if you don't. It's only $50. Turn this up a little bit. I'm going to reduce the threshold on that compressor and give it some gain here. Reduce the high cut on the reverb too. So you get some shimmer. Dry through. Automation isn't turned on the plug arpeggio, is it? I don't see one. No. I just turned it on. I know this is a very early song, so I don't want to do too many things to it, but that's what I would do. I'd add some like nice evolving bass in those break sections. You have a little bit too little bass sounds in those break sections. It's kind of top heavy. Pluck gets a little buried by that lead when the chords start. I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think these should complement the lead. The lead should really be the focus of the section. Personally, because you can't have two focuses. You have to have one focal point, and I think this should be it. Cool, so I'm going to go ahead and save this one. Very cool job, Aperture. And I'm going to collect all and save. And we're going to get on to the last one of the day, which is Blind Spider. His is, let's see, Reactor by Blind Spider. We're going to open this up and take a quick look and see what we can do with it. Cool. Getting her open. Okay. More plugins I don't have. Give this thing a listen. His stuff's really cool. Cool, it's sounding good. Fortunately, I don't have the limiter. This guy should come up in volume, though. That's so cool. Don't bury it. As for this kick, maybe give it some more mids. I don't know if the high pass is necessary there. LOL. Oof, that's so good. Where is that? Make sure that side chain is on, boyo. Okay, so your hi-hat's very mono. Let's see if we can find that. Okay, this guy is really sharp and nice. Let me turn that up a little bit. Your hi-hat needs to be like, your open hi-hat, I should say, needs to be like really more in your face, I think. Yeah, there we go. It's very mono. Maybe we can separate it in the stereo field a little bit with a Haas effect. Generally, I don't like to do this on hi-hats, but this is like extremely mono. Sounds good. Let's give this thing a playback. Might be a little bit too much high pass there too. Yeah, that's much better. Really nice clap too, jeez. I think all this one takes is just a little bit of mix balancing. This track's freaking sick. If you guys didn't know, Blind Spider is one of my high tier patrons. He was actually my first patron, and he's one of my students. We do lessons all the time, and I think he's really coming along. It's one of my good friends now. So. And his stuff is getting better by the second. So go follow him. His name's Blind Spider with a 5. Yeah, I can't find things to fix on this guy. It's really good. Maybe like mastering stuff. But really it's solid. This guy. Okay, hold on. Okay, I see. Ooh. Is that your actual Moog, or is that a freaking sample? Yeah, okay, it's a Rinsen sample. I was gonna say, yeah. I think you need some more low in there. Let me toss on a reverb on that guy. Sounding super good. This is like great. What I actually want to do though, instead, I'm actually going to use a audio channel, and I'm going to actually print this and do all this processing on an audio channel. I want to pitch it down like they do in like, maybe we might be able to do it in MIDI, but I don't know how much control we get here. Yeah, not as much. So I'm gonna go ahead and print this to audio, and we'll work in it there. Freeze track. Okay, we can't because sidechain, right? Okay, I'm gonna drag these onto here, and we're just gonna use the sample that he used instead of using the MIDI. So we're gonna freeze track. This part, I think you could probably use this with the same bass as you had earlier. Just as a separate layer. This strikes me as more like a, and then like you pull it out and it's gone. Like not like a stagnant bass note like you have right here. This is like fire tune though. My screen just crashed. Hopefully the stream doesn't crash. There we go. Yeah, my computer's been crashing a lot lately on the new update. See, I think it's a visual bug, and there's nothing I can do about it here. So I'm gonna grab that, and what I'm gonna do is delete. I'm actually gonna put this where it needs to be first, and then I'll delete it. Duplicate, and then we'll delete. So same thing, just the audio version, easy peasy. And this time I'm going to pitch it down manually here with the audio clip, which is much better in audio than it is in MIDI. This is so good. Okay. Woo! Heater. Okay. Doing a high pass version here, and then we drop it into the big one. Ooh, that's so good. Okay, I'm gonna save this. Let's listen through this one, and then we'll call this wraps. While we listen, if you have any questions or if I have any adjustments I want to make to this, I will make them, and I will answer your questions while we listen to this. But I'm going to play it through, and we'll call it wraps. Such a good tune. I am ready for all of your remixes. By the way, guys, go follow Blind Spider. And make sure to get in your remixes for It Is What It Isn't remix competition. I'm going to be picking the winner next week. So we have like 7.5 days now. So good luck to everyone who enters. Humor me with a little bit of reverb on this clap. It's very like Anna. I love it. Alright, let's go ahead a little. That little bit of reverb, I think, puts into the mix a little bit more. Underwater. I would actually maybe continue this here too. You know? Really like smacks in right here. So good. Yeah, that's like an Ibiza like club banger right here. That's super good. All right, guys. I'm gonna wrap up the stream right here. If you guys are interested, let me switch back to my other view, my fancy dancy view. If you guys are interested in next month's stream, please head over to Patreon, make a pledge of $10 or more, and then you can submit your project files for me to work on and critique on the stream. I do these every month when I'm not like super duper busy or something crazy comes up. I generally do these in the first week of the month or the second week of the month. But yeah, next month, if you're interested in having your project reviewed, go over to Patreon and make a small pledge, and we do it. Yep. So I also do feedback streams for the general public, for general fans. Those are less common because I like to do these sort of things so I can really dive into the projects and take a look at what's going on. You know, that I think I get more miles out of that, and I can give more feedback than just like SoundCloud links. Occasionally I'll do a feedback stream for SoundCloud and stuff like that, but this is definitely my platform of choice, and I hope that next time you guys will submit a project as well, and I will check it out on the stream and get to it. So let's answer some questions here. Hi, Julian. I'm kind of late. Sorry that I'm ending right as you came on. Next month, I will maybe follow my Twitter or my Facebook, and you'll see it next time. Because I do announce it there as well. Or my Discord too. Did you do anything with that Demidod track? I did not yet. I don't know which track you're referring to. Maybe DM me after this. I will become your patron in 1.5 years when I have a full-time job. Awesome, man. Don't feel obligated to. It's just any patrons and pledges makes this possible, essentially. My whole living is from Patreon and teaching music, so any help is appreciated. Anyway, guys, I will see you in the next month's stream. Again, if you're interested in submitting next time, make sure to pledge on Patreon. And check out my social media accounts to get notified when I'm doing these. Enjoy my Discord server if you haven't. It's discord.gg/JulianGray. Awesome. I will see you guys, I guess, in the next one. Bye-bye.